So sometimes I always say it's like takes 3 minutes of making a difficult decision, but then on the other side of it, you can find a positive environment and focus less on, I was very concerned about what other people thought. I was very concerned about what other people were doing, and we need to do that too. Like, I was very concerned about checking all the check boxes in the curriculum or whatever, those external things that now I'm like, okay, this is not as important as I thought it was.
Hello, sweet friends, and welcome back to the Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast. I'm Kristi Clover, and I'm excited to be your host again this week. I have my dear friend, Tricia Goyer, back with me. But last week, we tackled some of the emotional challenges of raising preteens and teens. And if you missed that episode, definitely go back and listen. But today, we're going to be diving into the relationship side of parenting our preteens. So friendships, family culture, and creating a home where faith can truly grow. But before we jump into that conversation, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Apologia. So if you are looking for a homeschool resource that you can truly trust, one that's rooted in strong biblical worldview and built to support your child's education, then you have to check out Apologia. I've loved Apologia for years. They've been a go-to for so many Christian families because their curriculum doesn't just teach facts. It inspires a lifelong love of learning while keeping Christ at the center. And the best part? They know every family homeschools a little differently. That's why Apologia offers flexible options to fit your unique season, whether that's self-paced online courses, live classes with incredible instructors, or streaming video lessons you can access anytime, anywhere. They even have audiobooks, which are really handy for road trips and perfect for learning on the go. So Apologia truly comes alongside you in your homeschooling journey. Go explore everything they offer. You can see their full lineup of Apologia homeschooling resources today at apologia.com, and you'll discover how they can help your family thrive. Apologia, equipping families, inspiring learners, and teaching truth. Alrighty, my friends, I'm back. And today I'm bringing Tricia Goyer back on the show with me. So welcome back to the show, Tricia.
Thank you, Kristi. It's always so fun chatting with you.
Oh, I love it. I know. I love these opportunities just to try to get you to, unload all of that wisdom that you have for everyone out there.
I've been homeschooling. Well, my oldest is 35, Kristi.
No way.
This has been a while. Yes. So,
wow.
My first homeschool conference was 1992. I've been doing this. Like, this is in the pioneer days of homeschooling.
That is. I was graduated from high school in 92.
I know.
Amazing. Yeah. But yeah, so you've been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
No, well then, what I wanted to kind of kick off with as we talk through this is, I think if you've homeschooled for a hot second or even thought about homeschooling, you have heard the question that like everyone talks about, like, what about socialization? And I kind of giggle because it really depends on my mood and how I answer that.
Yeah.
Because I've got so many different ways to answer that. But I want to look at the other side of that question and how do we actually help our kids to find and form healthy, like-minded friendships, like the ones that you want your kids to be social with.
I think this is one of the hardest things going on today because there are, even within Christian families, different levels of what they let their kids do, what they don't let their kids do, and then just what our kids enjoy getting along with, doing things with. And so I think when kids, I'm really like, okay, what is a group of kids that I really enjoy just them as a group and figure out how to connect my kids there. And then within that group, they will find their individual friendships. So I have two examples that just in the last year. So I'm so glad you brought this up. One is our homeschool basketball. So Casey played homeschool basketball 2 years ago and didn't make a lot of good connections on the team. I'm trying to be kind. It was just a struggle because I'm like, are some of the parents going to be listening to this podcast? I don't know.
Like,
it was a struggle for my child. We'll just say that. And so I talked to some other parents, and one parent was on a different team in a different town. And she's like, you know what, just come here. And it was such a good move for him. The kids pulled him in. Because I will say, all kids have quirks. He just has some quirks. And the kids were just like, they just loved him. They just brought him in. He became one of the team. And it really made such a huge difference. And, we had to talk about like, why did you switch? Why did you go? Like on both sides, on both parents. And I'm like, you know what? We were just looking for a switch, and it just works for family. You don't have to explain anything else, but I will say that was a great move for our family and the types of kids. Not that they're like best friends and he's hanging out with these kids all the day, every day, but we are having connections. We're doing stuff with them. And just as a group, they were a much more positive group of kids than the other group. And then same with our homeschool co-op. We had just it was just personality things. We're not working with some of the kids. I'm teaching at a different one, and that group of kids. And it's not that, again, we're trying to say anything against someone else's kids, because they get along. Yeah. They had great relationships with each other, right? But for my kids to find good friendships. And so we made a big co-op switch. So sometimes I always say it's like takes 3 minutes of making a difficult decision, but then on the other side of it, you can find a positive environment. And so these days, is there a group of kids, co-op, youth groups? And it really is worth the investment, even if it's a change, even if other people might have questions, even if they're other people are feeling like you've abandoned ship. It's worth it for our kids to surround them with people that they're going to connect with and that are going to be positive influences on them. And it helps that also I have adult kids. And so what seems really, really hard in the moment, because my older ones are 35, 32, and 31, I'm like, it'll be fine. 10 years from now, this isn't going to be an issue. It'll be really hard for me to call up this co-op or call up whatever and make the switch. But I think when I was younger and those were my older kids and I would get so stressed out about it, or even having to call a parent and talk about a situation. Like now I'm like, 10 years from now, it'll be fine. And so it has helped me so much having adult kids, knowing that it's worth it to be advocates for my kids and find good places where they can surround themselves with good people.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think it really is that perspective. When you start having adult children, you start being like, I stressed way too much about these things. In fact, my one of my older boys, I always giggle because they're like, you were not this relaxed with us. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I should have been. But I didn't know. Like, you're just in like, the world is dangerous.
And so, but Nathan, who's 31, who's 31, Casey, who's 14, was like, you are such a strict mom. And Nathan just started laughing. He's like, you have no idea the mom I had. So I feel I have relaxed, but also like, I feel like I'm focused more on the things that do matter and focus less, which are, the heart issues type of stuff, and focus less on, I was very concerned about what other people thought. I was very concerned about what other people were doing, and we needed to do that too. Like I was very concerned about checking all the check boxes in the curriculum or whatever, those external things that now I'm like, okay, this is not as important as I thought it was.
I know, and I remember when my oldest were young, and I had a friend who had older kids, and like her youngest child was my oldest child. And I remember watching her and thinking like, she's crazy. I can't believe all the things she lets her kids do. Like, like, oh my goodness. Like I was so scared, and I'm like, like watching, I'm like, oh, that, like it was just so scary. And yet now I'm that mom. I'm like, relax.
Yes. I'm like, you're not going to finish that curriculum. Don't worry about it. They're like looking at me like, what?
I know. And I'm giggling because I literally was sitting at your kitchen table as when we were in between conferences, and I was staying with you. And then my oldest at the time, who was, I want to say maybe even 14. Grant was, I think, 14, maybe 15. And he was flying by himself from San Diego and going to meet us in Nashville. And his connecting flight got canceled. And I was like, he's going to be in Texas. You literally got to, and you were so relaxed. You're like, Kristi, it's all going to work out. I'm like, but my son's going to be in a different state. I can't get to him. And you're like, it's going to be fine. And I'm like, she doesn't understand.
No, you're like, it was fine. It all worked out.
You got to watch me panic.
Yeah. Kristi, I was just talking about you earlier too, because when you stayed during that time, I'm like, the best guest to have over is another homeschooling mom. Cause I'll like be doing something in the kitchen and I might turn around, you're doing the next thing. I'm like, oh, this is like a miracle. This is so nice. Having another homeschooling mom as a guest was like so fun.
Well, because I get it. Like, I think I was helping you fold your laundry. At some point, I'm like, can I help? And you're like, yes. Like, so
please.
you got it. Like, you say yes. And other people are offering. They're like, I didn't have any laundry to fold. So let me fold yours.
Here's my sock bin. Please do this while you're here.
That's right. I'll play the matching game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, before we go into our break, I just want to make sure, like, because this kind of goes into what we were already talking about, how, when we are these young moms, and now I'm the old mom, and I'm like, oh, I tell moms now, but if only I knew what I know now. But I find myself all the time telling these young moms, like, it goes so fast. And especially once you hit these preteen years, it's like a blink of the eye, and suddenly they have their own strong opinions. You got deodorant on. Hopefully you have deodorant on hand. You got driver's licenses, coming up on the horizon. But what are some ways that we can really be intentional with this short time? Because I feel like this should be like when your kids hit preteen, teen years, like it should be you should have a little light going off, like it's coming to an end. Your time and your most influence on them is coming to an end. Your relationship will always be there. If you cultivate it well, but how can we be connecting with our preteens and teens while they're still in our home?
Yeah. And I really just try to figure out how many ways I can pull them into things and have fun with them and enjoy them and do things that they enjoy, even though I might not enjoy them. And really just, if not every day, like trying to find things. So for example, tonight's going to be our movie and game night, or not our night movie, game and snack night. But I remember when my older ones were younger, they have these very complicated board games that have like 5,000 pieces, and like, Mom, come here, we'll teach you how to play it. And I could have said no, but I sat there and I listened to the rules, and I will get a call. I was actually at a homeschool conference, and I get a text message from my 35-year-old and my 31-year-old, like, hey, we want to get together for a game. Can we come over to your house? And I'm like, I'm out of town. Oh. But I would say a couple times a month, my 35-year-old, my 31-year-old, they come over. We put out those very complicated board games. If I can beat them, I get super excited.
Right.
But just like a couple nights ago, Nathan, who doesn't even live at home, he brought 2 friends over that I got to meet for the first time. So me and his 2 friends played a card game. Actually, 3 friends played a card game. And I'm like, I want to be that parent where his friend, Jacob, will text Nathan like, hey, does your mom want to play a game tonight? Like, I want to be that mom. But it came to when they were 13, 14, 15, me looking at all those pieces. And I really did not want to learn how to play those games, but I did. Or Alyssa loves doing nails. So she did all this whole multi-level layer thing. We went to this beauty supply. She got all this stuff. I washed my hands and nail polish came right off. So then I had to redo it the next day, but it was fine. We had that time together. We went to the beauty supply. She's still learning how to do whatever gel stuff she's doing. And it's still time together. Now, even when I travel, if I can find any time, can I bring my kids? Anytime I'm going someplace, I'm going to bring at least one or multiple of my kids to try to work in, weekends away, family gatherings. For Christmas, we got 2 houses. That was their Christmas present. And we went up to Branson, which was like 3 hours away. And every kids, grandkids, everyone was together in 2 different houses. And we went to Silver Dollar City, which is like a theme. That's what they're like, this is the best thing ever. So if we're doing that when they're younger, if we are going to doing the rides that we don't maybe not enjoy, playing the games, they will come back. We have that relationship. We have, if we let them babble on about whatever singer they like, we'll have those conversations later. I was just on the phone for an hour yesterday with Lauren and Florentina, who are in Poland. Like, we have to cultivate that though when they are little, when they are younger, so we can have that. So they want to call mom. So that will just be a natural thing to do board game nights, to do snack times, to do, I just getting some tents. We're going to be sleeping in the yard. Like, I want to cultivate those things with them because I see how much my older kids are impacted, and then my grandkids.
Yes.
So now I have grandkids that want to come over, and then we're doing the same thing. We're playing the board games. We're making the cookies. We're doing the things. And so I think that the older they get, the more I focus on that, because realizing that is really where family is. And that's where you pass on your traditions, your service to God, your love for God is not just in let's go to church together, let's read the Bible together, but in the activities, the entertainment, the things we choose to do as a family.
Oh, I love it. And I did that when I was at your house. We played one of those complicated games. And I remember thinking like, I am never going to learn this, but I'm like, but I am here playing. And Nathan was with us. So,
Yeah,
see, you brought your old friend to play with your
Yeah, exactly. Like if you come over to my house, you're going to play a board game with us and it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun.
And what I found is even fun is like introducing them to things that I'm interested in, and like little, like when I would drive to youth group with my now 16-year-old, so he drives himself, but he keeps the tradition is we would listen to 80s and 90s music, and it was always like the, can mom sing along? And, it's shocking how much
all
you remember.
The lyrics are just there.
I don't think I've heard some of these songs since the 80s or the 90s, and I just know them. It's frightening, but it's become this silly thing. And so now we play them at home and we dance around. And so the kids are just like, asking about Michael Jackson and asking about all these things. I mean, so like most of my kids know how to moonwalk. So I'm proud of that. I love
it. That, you know what? That is something you need to have like a button that says that. But
yes.
Tying into that, we just were coming back from a trip. And usually we love to do like, we'll do like 14 hours in a day. Like we just get in the car, we just go. And the last 2 hours we play the what 80s song is this game. So I put it on my Spotify random thing and we'll do it and we sing along. And we were coming back from Orlando Sunday night. And probably 3 hours from home, Bella in the back goes, "Aren't you going to do the 80s music thing?" And we're like, "Oh, it's getting close." We usually wait a couple hours, but we turned it on. And then when I go hear them around the house, like singing along, it's like, that's a memory when we're all in the car and I'm like in the front seat, like doing the dances and we're guessing the lyrics and then they're joining in and they may be like, not this song again or whatever. But it's a memory that they're building. And then you see them humming along to Toto and you're like, it's all good.
I love it. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to talk about more family fun and just ways to cultivate some family traditions.
Homeschooling is a big responsibility. With BJU Press, you can feel equipped to give your children not just an education, but a foundation for life. Children learn in different ways, and BJU Press lets you adapt to their unique learning styles. And you'll love the community of other homeschool moms who use BJU Press. They've been where you are, and they're full of advice, encouragement, and practical tips. And when you need even more help, there's the Homeschool Hub, which keeps families organized with easy lesson planning, calendars, and even grading tools. To learn more, visit bjupresshomeschool.com.
Have you tried CTC Math yet with your child? Here's a testimonial from another happy homeschool mom. Amber said, "I'm absolutely thrilled with CTC Math. It's a rare find that I've used with my children for more than 5 years now. I have 6 children using CTC Math, and each child has found it easy to navigate and very applicable. Thank you so much for all that you are doing in providing quality math lessons for my children." If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com. That's ctcmath.com.
We're back with Tricia Goyer, and we've been talking about how to connect with our older preteen kids. But I'd like to do a little pivot and talk about how to create a welcoming home. I kind of like all things home life, but I want to talk a little bit about what is a welcoming home and kind of how we can do some things, including inviting our kids into the process of making sure our home is a welcoming home. So, Tricia, my friend, how can we create a more welcoming home?
Well, I think we have to get definitely the Pinterest idea of what home should look like out of our mind and be okay with the shoes by the door and the sports equipment piled up. And my husband got couches that have cup holders in them in my living room. Like, I had to just say, that's okay, honey. That's okay. I don't like, and the majority, like our family is in this house. Like we have guests, it's not like I need to impress the guests, of how this house looks, because it's always going to be homeschool stuff everywhere and shoes everywhere and sports everywhere. And just being okay with that. We have 3 dogs now. I mean, like all the dogs are running around.
Wow.
So, and like I went downstairs between breaks and we have a baby bunny that they found in the yard when Casey was mowing. So it's like, oh, cool. We got a baby bunny. It really is like just relaxing and realizing like our home is for our family. It's not to impress other people. And yes, and people understand. Like, some people's houses I walk over, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. It's amazing. Come to my house. It's not going to be.
Your house is beautiful. You do an amazing job.
But it's not going to be perfectly decorated. I think just getting that out of our mind and being okay with it just being a comfortable place for our family. And then a welcoming home is being the place where it's okay if their friends come over. They bring their friends over. Yes, we're going to get pizza. And yes, you can have your friends over. The yard, we have the basketball net outside and this whole bunch of kids in our backyards. It's just being the place where you want the kids to hang out, because later it'll be the place where you want the kids to hang out. And I think a lot of that is just also smiling, paying attention, making eye contact with your kids. They're not an interruption in our day. They're not bothering us from the things we want to do. And yes, they do have chores. They do have things that they have to do in the day, but also this is our home. This is our family. We want to enjoy each other. And that is what they're going to remember when my daughter comes home. She lived in the Czech Republic for 12 years. She's a missionary there. She'll be like, Mom, can you make tuna casserole? And I'm like, that is like the last thing you think, but that is like the easy thing that I would make after a homeschool day. Throw some cream of mushroom soup, some sour cream, some tuna, some noodles together, and some cheese on top. That is like what she wants now, because that is home. And so just thinking about the things that this is the memories that they're going to have. We don't want them to be, just so overwhelmed and stressed by all the things we're trying to do or all the things we're trying to be. It really helps having my grandma, who's 95. She's still here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And I would be running around crazy and the house is a mess. And she would just smile at me like, these are the best years of your life, honey. And I would like, Grandma, like the best years of my life sound like laying on a beach somewhere and not this, but she's exactly right. Like it is the best years of our lives with all the kids around, all the noise, all the chaos. And if we have the expectations that our days are going to be busy, they're going to be noisy, they're going to be messy, and be okay with it, then we'll have a great day. Like if we have an expectation that we could have a clean house and everything's going to be perfect, then we're just going to stress ourselves and our kids out.
Yeah. Even if there's goldfish in the cup holders in your couch.
Exactly. Okay. There probably is right now.
That was the first thing I thought of when you said cup holders. I was like, oh, the crumbs.
Oh my God, it's okay.
Well, one of the stories you actually share in the book, Faith That Sticks, that I thought was so funny was that you were talking about your gratitude jar. And I was thinking, I remember when you did the book about gratitude and you were saying, like, I was not working with one of the girls. But what I love is, number one, I was like, how is she going to pull this out? Like I got wrapped into the story. But can you share a little bit? But I want you to share the shift in your approach. And so kind of like, that's another gratitude to this shift that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were trying to go a year without grumbling because everyone was grumbling. And I would come up with all these activities that we would do. Like every time you grumble, you have to put a gratitude. Well, then they just kept grumbling. And it's like, I'm not going to put a stupid gratitude in your jar. Like that did not work. And so then I realized like, okay, she would argue with me. It was Florentina, and she gives me permission to tell the story. She laughs about it now, but every time I would tell her to do the kitchen, she would argue with me. Then I was praying about it, and it's like, well, why does she not like to do the kitchen? Because I've been there. You didn't wipe this down. You need to load the dishwasher first. And so it's like this nitpicky mom. And so I'm like, I wouldn't want to do something if I just had someone always just criticizing me. So it turned to praise. And so here she is barely wiping the counter. Florentina, you are doing an amazing job. That counter is sparkling. And she like perks up and then she swipes more of the counter. And like, I was putting laundry away, and every time I went through, I would just like start praising her and praising her. Pretty soon she's unloaded the dishwasher, scraping off all the dishes, and the praise really turned things around. And so when you catch your kids doing something right, even when we went to therapy when Casey was little, the therapist is like, if he's throwing a cart in the direction of the toy box, like praise him, like, you almost got the toy box. Great job. And then they'll perk up. They love praise. And so they will, anytime we continue to criticize, it's just going to harden their hearts. It's just going to push them away from us. But if we praise them, like, wow, you're doing such a great job. And that kitchen, like, she spent 45 minutes in there just that first day after praising her. It was completely clean. She ended up being the person that always did the kitchen the best. And it reminded me that I need to praise them. And also that night at dinner, I told John, I'm like, you should have seen the kitchen today. It was so amazing, because they want to hear us saying the good things that they're doing too. So I think we could really, and especially as moms, we're there, or parents, we're just there all day long. And we just can be that negative voice in their head, and just, we can turn it around when we just start praising. And then they want to please us. They love getting attention for the right reasons, and then they don't have to get attention for the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is great advice for parenting and marriage.
Yes.
Praise. Don't criticize. Praise. I love it. And even I loved, because I love that you mentioned it here too, because you put it in the book, but not just praising directly to them, let them hear you or catch you praising them to other people. Mm-hmm. I try to be really intentional about praising my kids, but praising my kids to other people. Because so often we just get into these little whiny, messes that we do with our friends, and like, oh, my daughter's not doing this, or my daughter, or what? No, like, just focus on the praise, focus on the positives, build them up, be their biggest cheerleader. So I love that. And I love that you got like great results with that too, because it's amazing what can happen when we slow down and focus on, not the little tiny things that need to be tweaked, which I have an eye for that. So, but letting it go, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. So my sweet darling friend, do you have any final thoughts of just like any practical encouragement for families who are walking through these preteen, early teen years?
And I think one of the things, of course, when we always are looking like, how can we help the kids? How can we do this with the kids? I mean, it has to start with us. And my thing is like, I don't have time with my kids until I have time with me and Jesus. And he will, like, he's the one that reminds me like, oh, praise her. Like, it's like when we spend time with God, like, he is a constant help. He can help us, guide us, lead us. He can stir our hearts to one of our kids that might need more attention. He can bring to mind the conversation starters that we need to have, or the ideas we need to do. I was just the other day, my kids were having a really hard day, and I'm like, stressed. I started writing out a prayer, and I got the idea to do summer vision boards. So I took them all to the dollar store, and we were like, what do we want to do? Because they're complaining, you have to work. And so we wrote down all the things that we want to do. We made plans, game nights, sleeping.
Oh, I love it.
And so that was me writing out a prayer. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to balance everything. Lord, give me wisdom. And that idea came. So God is there to help us with our families. Like, he knows their hearts. He knows our hearts. He knows who he designed them to be. And so just turn to him and have that time with him.
Oh, so good. We forget to do that so often, sadly enough, but I love it. And I'm totally stealing that idea. I'm going to go to the dollar store this weekend.
Yes. I'm going to put it on my blog, because I wrote out a list, like, choose from these things. That's another thing. Then they're going like, I don't know what to do. I give them like 20 things to choose from. And so
we may or may not have had that conversation. I'm so bored. Like one of my kiddos, and I was like, wow, like, let's make a list. And so my older daughter, she actually does. She has a list of things that she just goes to. And so it's great, because she is not one who sits around and just, she's a doer, which I'm always like, slow down, sit down, relax. But she also has a fun list of things that she knows she can go and do. And so she'll go and, do art or bracelets or, just whatever it is. But she knows, and yesterday she was weeding. So I'm like, God bless you. I will take that.
Put that on your list. Kristi's in there writing things on her list.
Like, ooh, declutter garage. Oh, well, Well, thank you so much. I feel like I'm not a podcast host without having you as a guest.
It's so fun to always talk with you.
I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and encouraging everyone. But before we go, please remind our listeners where they can find you and all of your amazing books and resources.
Absolutely. Well, most of our books are on Amazon or christianbook.com or any of those places. But my website is also just Tricia Goyer, Tricia's Tricia, TriciaGoyer.com. I'm on Instagram at Tricia Goyer and Facebook, all the places. And I would love to connect with you.
Perfect. Well, my friends, make sure you are finding Tricia online. Again, I'm a big Tricia Goyer fan, both in my personal life and in just my homeschool life and all the things. But I hope that you know that you can find all the links for this show in the show notes, and also be sure to head over to schoolhouserocked.com where you can stream the movie Schoolhouse Rocked, the Homeschool Revolution for free, and subscribe to Schoolhouse Rocked YouTube channel and follow on your favorite podcast app. It has been an absolute pleasure to be your host this week on the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast. And sweet friends, before you go, I want to make sure that you know of a few tools I've created to support you in your homeschool and mom life. First up is the Homeschool Reset. It's a free 3-day mini course designed to help you declutter your mind, reset your routines, and find more joy in your homeschool days. You can grab it anytime at kristiclover.com/reset. And if you want to go a little deeper, you can check out my Sanity Savers for Moms Bootcamp. It's a powerful 90-minute workshop packed with practical tools to trade your chaos for calm and to create systems that work for you. Plus, I have a brand new course called Training Kids to Help. So if you resonated with anything Tricia and I were talking about, and you're tired of doing everything yourself and are ready to get your kids involved without the nagging, which, see, not just coming from me, it's coming from Tricia too. This is experience. This is for you. So, and because you are a podcast listener, if you use the code Clover10, you get $10 off either Training Kids to Help or my Ultimate Homeschool Organization course. So head over to kristiclover.com to find all the links to all of my resources. And you can also find me on Instagram and YouTube as @Kristi Clover for any of more encouragement and tips behind the scene of my crazy family life or whatever it is. But you can find me online there. But come back next week for another exciting guest on Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast, and be sure to stay tuned to the end to hear a preview of what's coming up next on the podcast. So have yourself a very fabulous rest of your week, my friends. Take care.
You're listening to the Biblical Family Network.
Hey, I'm Miki.
And I'm Will.
And we're the co-hosts of the Culture Proof Podcast. We want to invite you to join us every week as we discuss what's happening in the world and then filter those happenings through a decidedly biblical lens.
There are many questions, especially when we see what's happening in our culture today, but the answers are found within the Word of God. So that's where we want to look.
Amen. When we resist those cultural trends that rival the truth,
we remain culture proof.
In the first few years, I really took that as I control it all. Right. I have a hand in everything. I have a say in everything. No one can move forward a lesson unless I am sitting by you, watching you. And that became really taxing. I really feel like grace kind of inserted itself in year 5. I will say the latter years have been way better than the first years.